framework. So this is the Alpha-Oracle framework: 4-bit binary conversion and 3 reputation and a set of 4 strings. So this is the framework which I've expanded and created new rules. Closed and open circles or overs must be used to identify state.
Is there something that we can take from there? Because now when we talk about technology, there is an aspect of it that is almost spiritual. I do believe that most of the high science that we have today have already been understood before now, several thousands of years ago, because otherwise the pyramid will not be built.
Having seen how the geopolitics, how things are going, why don't we shift and engage in cybersecurity and artificial intelligence as a part of the construct for us to build a new dynamics in a changing world? The world is converting itself into a digital machine, where the cost of the change. And are we still going to be thinking of labor moving from point A to point B?
Thank you for checking out Obehi Podcast. We encourage people to own their story and share it with the world to expand their purpose. Before we start this presentation, I have something to quickly share with you. Are you a purpose-driven entrepreneur? Do you want to cut across the noise and attract your ideal client by leveraging your own story? Then pay attention. I have a signature program that can help you own your story. A 5-step transformative journey to reshape your professional and business narrative for success in less than 90 days. And it's available at academy.aclasses.org/story. This is what we have understood. Storytelling is the most powerful instrument known to man. And this is what that could mean to you. You can either own your story and use it to advance your purpose in your business and professional life, or someone else will do. The choice is yours. Now let's get started with today's episode of the Obehi Podcast.
My name is Josiah Umezurike. I'm originally from Nigeria. To be precise, I'm an Igbo stock. And I moved to the United States when I was turning 20 years old, years back in 1994, after an interesting period of time in the country at that time, after Abacha regime and all that. So I came to the US and I sought the opportunity, just like everybody else, to be able to gain education, knowledge, and to utilize it to help the community that I live in. So at that time, we all wanted to come to the US and be a part of the country and contribute and do the best we could. And we never thought things will be the way they are today. So with that being said, I continued to build companies here in the US after my education. I have a background in computer engineering. I studied computer engineering, and I've been in the industry for over 25 years. I spent about 10 years, the past 10 years, I've been doing a lot of things in software development. Prior to that, about 15 years concurrently, I spent all that time in cybersecurity. And I learned so many things in the industry as I worked for Fortune 500 organizations, government, and I also worked for myself, which I continue to do as well. I learned that in the West, not just the United States, there's a need to compete, which is ferocious. And especially if you are not first generation or like you just a regular immigrant, you coming in, you have a new set of challenges that you have to face. And I hate to call them problems, I just refer them as challenges. So if each of the challenges you have to topple them, you need to devise a way to jump that hurdle and get to the next step, which of course I did all of that. And I accomplished my ministry in the spaces that I needed to do that. And that's why I now have a software company. I have software companies. I also have nonprofit organizations. But I will tell you what I learned over the years, which defines me, which makes me who I am, a well-rounded person. I learned that the system that we are upon is unforgiving, and the system is designed in such a way to take advantage of the weak. And I didn't know this before until later on, after putting a lot of effort in promoting the system, not knowing that the system also have weaknesses, which we now, as underserved communities, are a part of those weaknesses, and we get churned in those systems, just like fossil fuel get churned in an automobile. So I'm saying this to bring the point home that at the beginning, everything was very hopeful. We believed in the system, and we did everything to promote it. We talk about the countries we belong to and all of that. But over the years, we realized that these are not naturally how things are supposed to be. We start to see that some continents are suffering because of the stronghold that's put in them. And as the ones who are fleecing, just like you fleece a sheep, you use a share to fleece them, meaning you taking their protection. So that's been happening to all these other continents. And I'm learning over the years how China did what they did, how Indians are doing. Although Indians are not optimized as Chinese, but I'm learning in my space in the industry based on my career choices and life circumstances. I've seen how the Indians operate and the Chinese operate. The Chinese are coming from a place of uh, uh, change. They want to change their situation. They know their situation in the world. They want to change it. The Indian group are coming from a place of walking on both sides. They want to be here and be there. But the Chinese are definite. They want to be on their own, and they want to change up the life for the poor people in their country. But I learned all this stuff because these people are in the industry that are working in tech. So over the years, I started developing a way of solving this problem. First, I knew as a business owner in the United States, the challenge is higher for you being an immigrant. And I wanted to be competitive. To be competitive, I have to find where I get my resources from as far as human resources are concerned. So in the last 10 years, I have developed a process of getting talent from around the globe, especially from the African continent, because those talents, yes, they don't have all what you need or all the skills that you need, but you can train them to be what you want. And what you do by doing that is you encourage them, and they will be motivated to start something, and they will be very grateful for the little that you did for them. So the value is there on both sides, mutual beneficial. You transfer the knowledge to them. Now they work for you, and then that they allow you to be competitive in this space. So that's what we've done over the years that allowed us to build a lot of solutions. I do hold a couple of patents that I'm proud of. I developed a new way of doing encryption, which means you no longer have to store keys, reuse keys, manage keys, or move keys in your environment if you use our solution. It's just like an infrastructure as a service. And it was all because of my ability to be resourceful and find ways to build those things, because the cost of building what we have could be very high. And we've done it without breaking the bank to do so. Not only that, we took the experience, what we've learned, and these are the stories that make me who I am. And I'm not trying to detour from the subject. We took that and we formed a process, a legal process, which means we have a business formation under Each One Teach One Tech, which is a nonprofit profit organization. Each One Teach One Tech is basically a 501c public charity. It provides the tools and resources needed by the underserved communities to remain gainfully employed. without breaking the bank, of course. From the skills that they gain, they become they have a better life outcome. That's the whole purpose. Now, how does that tie in into what I'm doing today? If you want me to move forward, I can go ahead, but if not, I'll just wait for you.
Okay, we love the story. I hardly ever interrupt because I just love when the people just flow. But anyway, it's okay. Since you stopped, I can then interject a few things there. Then, of course, we'll come back to this later on. So, like I was telling you before we started to roll, we love to learn more about you too, your background, where you are coming from, so that people can connect also to your root, because that is very important for us. And that is a strategic decision that we have made in the Obehi podcast and also in our organization, A Classes Media. That since we are targeting the African diaspora, there is a high significance to our identity. Therefore, we are intentional when we talk about where we are coming from. So, having said that, tell me, what do you remember of you growing up as a little kid, as a child, or as an adolescent?
So, growing up back in Nigeria, the what I remember is everyone wants to leave, or everyone wants to go abroad and study, and no one wants to come back. So, looking at that and what I know today as a grown man, I was like, this is a terrible idea. You cannot become anything by leaving your land and going somewhere hoping that wherever you go is going to be the best for you. No, it doesn't work like that. You can travel, but you have to come back and bring what you've learned to where you came from, because the world is dynamic. The power shifts all the time. What if where you went to, the power shifts there? What are you going to do? You're going to leave again? This time, where you going to go? Where you came from? Doesn't make sense. So I learned from the best. The idea is you travel, you have an anchor where you came from, you build a terminal from where you live or where you came from. Because the idea, you must maintain the plan. You can't change it, okay? You must maintain the goal. You can't change the goal, but the plan could change. So now, if I was living in Nigeria and somebody tells me to leave and give me $1 million to leave, I will not. Nothing can make me leave because of the opportunity that is. Even if I leave, I make sure I stay in Africa. There's a lot of interesting things in the spiritual perspective that benefits people that live in Africa. So growing up, the idea of leaving, this big dream, study at Harvard, Stanford, that's what I remember, because I was in an environment where it's encouraged. And we were encouraged not to speak local languages and stuff like that and speak English because that's what gets you a job. These are terrible ideas. They're all terrible ideas. And that's why I remember them.
It really is a
Because
terrible
the
idea.
effort was to cut us off from our root, even by those that gave birth to us. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's wrong.
Do you remember being flogged in the school because you spoke your language? I do remember.
Yes, I remember. I remember that. I remember being whooped because I spoke my native tongue. And that's a part of removing us from who we are, disconnecting us from the root. And your language, when I tell you, your language is a part of your culture. And your culture is your root. Your root is where your power is. When you do not speak your language anymore, you speak another language. Yes, of course, your natural genetically operated language is still your mother's tongue, whether you speak it or not. However, when you don't verbalize it, it doesn't come out in full force to reflect the frequencies in the cosmos, then you're in trouble, because that's a part of your ingenuity. And if you mask your ingenuity, then you will always be a second class wherever you are. And that's what's happened to majority of the diaspora, people from Africa that have traveled. They lose the importance of their culture, and then their language goes with that. Now we have AI, and we're running the risk of having to continue the same tradition of losing our culture in AI. because the AI languages are skewed. They are based on the culture of the developers and the originators. And there's something called back translation, which continue to make it terrible for ethnic languages to thrive and to be heard, and then to be in the proper order and to have the right nuances for such communications. And these are areas of interest for me, and I've been working effortlessly to heal, because I do believe that technology today is a level playing field, and there are ways to manage technology and dispense technology so that individuals from the underserved communities could be a part of the development, and not just to be consumers, but they will develop and consume at the same time. And now they will export the codes, they will export the skills instead of leaving their countries. In the United States, the cost of services in software, cybersecurity, etc., is exorbitant, is very high. The research done by IFC Squared found out that the United States will need 3 million people to fill the gaps in the job for cybersecurity. This is not a joke. This is a study done. Now, where do you think that resource is going to come from? Where is competitive? Where is it competitive? Where is that going to come from? When you look at it, the people from underserved communities are very well disposed to take up the challenge. But how are they going to take up the challenge if no one takes this knowledge to them? They don't know that there's a demand for 3 million people in cybersecurity starting off here in the United States. They have no clue. But they will start in a position to provide the resources as far as valuable, competitive, or affordable skills. And that's what I'm talking about. The United States, the cost is high. Southeast Asia, the cost is high. Southwest Asia, I don't know, the cost is probably not as high as Southeast Asia. But I do know in India, the cost is high. There was a time the Indians would take $5 an hour, but now I don't think so. But $5 an hour is a lot of money in Africa. So why don't we shift? Having seen how the geopolitics, how things are going, why don't we shift and engage in cybersecurity and artificial intelligence as a part of the construct for us to build a new dynamics in a changing world? The world is converting itself into a digital machine, where the cost of the change. And are we still going to be thinking of labor moving from point A to point B, as opposed to labor, the resource, maybe the code going 360 degrees around the globe, wherever the resource is needed? Then we provide that. So the focus would be in training, not just teaching, in training, having a new pedagogy of training. What do I mean by having a new pedagogy of training? The status quo in training provides solution to the students. Now we can change that and do it just like the Chinese have done it. I'm giving precedence because it's been done. The Chinese, they solve problems with the students. They don't give them solutions. In the West, we give solutions because the teacher is expected to give you other answers. And that's where we lose it. So you are expected to take a quiz and pass. If you take a quiz and pass, the assumption is you know it. But knowing something for the sake of facts is not the same of really knowing that in the sense of workforce. Knowing for the sake of fact is good. But the new pedagogy should teach you to know something in a way to practicalize it, bring it to life, physical presence. You have to know so well that you can effortlessly do this step by step of what you know without thinking about it. Effortlessly. I'll give you an example. You know, when we were growing up as little kids, we wear the sandals. Remember when you were trying to buckle up your sandals? You don't even look at your shoes. You just buckle it up because when you are tying it up like the string, you don't even look at it, just tie it up. That is how education now should be. You should be taught in a practical sense and drilled. It has to be put in you. Opportunities should be created to put you on a hot seat. Only things that are used so often will become useful. If something is used so often, it becomes useful. If it's not used so often, it's not useful. So going to a university to get a certificate, you just proving to the world that you have a certificate. Do you know what to do with the certificate? You don't. That's why you don't get a job.
That is very interesting.
That's why you don't get a job.
All right,
Because you have a certificate.
I want you to take me there. We are still there in Nigeria now, but now only that we are now in your culture. Is there something that we can take from there? Because now when we talk about technology, there is an aspect of it that is almost spiritual. In some sense, no? Because now we're going to be talking about mathematics. Because I do believe that most of the high science that we have today have already been understood before now, several thousands of years ago, because otherwise the pyramid will not be built. Because the science that is needed to build that thing is not something that you get at the backyard. You need to study it really very well to be so perfect. So, is there anything that we can take from African culture to help us understand even the so-called fast age that we are living in today? Talking of technology, talking of AI, you are an expert in IT. Can we have something to take from our culture to help us better understand the world that we are living in today?
So without your culture, you are completely lost. Every technology that we use today is biased. And why do I? It's biased because the person that came up with the idea has a culture. And they're not going to build anything that's going to go against their culture. Now, most of the technology we have, majority of them are not grounded to Mother Earth. If a technology is grounded to Mother Earth, it will not destroy anyone or anything. So when you are building something and you don't have a culture that's grounded on this planet, you will destroy this planet. You will try to destroy this planet. I'm not saying any human being could destroy this planet because it's impossible. I don't know what kind of tones of power that you're going to have to destroy this earth. So whoever is telling you that they can destroy this earth, they're wasting their time. They're talking crap. Okay? Because the atomic energy, the question is, where did it come from? It came from the earth itself, plutonium, uranium. So how can you destroy? You got it from here, you come back and take the little you got from here to destroy the whole of it. Is it possible? Makes no flipping sense. You can destroy a particular part, but not the whole globe. It's impossible. The core of the earth has... But
Mali was saying, no, the atomic bomb will not stop the time.
He's correct, because we are what I call the component of the internal time established in this temporal. We are the primeval of the internal time established in this temporal. But while we make the leap in time, while we make those quantum leaps in time, none can stop the list of the time that's ticking away, for we are the component of time. Time is eternal. Time is eternal. See the point? So Bob Marley's conviction is on point. Now, when it comes to how can we advance the technology using the ancient knowledge, it's very simple. There's a knowledge in the region where I came from and where you come from. They call it Afa or Ifa. It's the heart of all technology. If you understand that, that Alpha or Ifa is the computer oracle. It's like a Turing machine in modern science. This is a black box oracle, a computer system. It's like a Turing machine, like I said. A Turing machine will take inputs, many inputs, and from those inputs, it will make a decision. Okay? It's considered a hard problem to solve. Or it's considered a non-deterministic polynomial time kind of problem, NP hard problems. That's what it's considered as. So in that case, we see that using it, there's a strong proponent support in using it to profile many of the technology of the day. For instance, in my technology that I patented, a lot of the fingerprint of Alpha is in it because I discovered the four-string Alpha system could be used in a dynamic sense to protect information, to protect data, and I used it. And today I've also discovered that the language, the ethnic languages, they come off as frequencies in the electromagnetic spectrum. If they come off as frequencies, and today the whole world is relying on AI, all we have to do is to move those sounds into text and build a foundational model. With that foundational model, we can achieve GPT in the ethnic languages, not just Yoruba or Igbo, but in any ethnic language around the world. Because we figured out that the root of those languages, they don't change. In Yoruba, you can say is gone, otilo, like T, law. They don't change. In Igbo, you can say lota, is come home or come back. Otilo. You see the same sound, but it has different meaning. Their meaning comes when you combine the sounds. These are what you consider as morphological harmonics. It is not in the white man's science or modern science. They don't know these things. Because they don't know it, they don't build it. So that's the strange part of science. Science could be almost something you cannot measure sometimes. It is considered what they call parascience, paranormal pseudoscience. But really, it is a part of science that human abstraction cannot understand. Only certain kind of people with the gift will understand that. Now, in our ancient African understanding of things, actually, we didn't have a religion. We have a way of life that's scientific and religious at the same time.
Thank you so much for that.
We didn't really have a religion like when we go in the church and we pray. No, it's a part of our life. We wake up in the morning, we go close to the shrine, we have a dialogue with the spirit. We talk to the spirit and we command the day how we want it to be. We say we want our day to be this way. If it's a K day, we command the power of the K, which is the fire that is within the foundation of this earth, to come and remove bad things. We call it Igomo. What is Igomo? Igomo is harnessing the power of the cosmos for your own benefit. That's what it means. But a lot of our people don't understand their own language, that the meaning of the word is in their own language. They fail to understand it. They think the meaning of their word is in English language. No, it's not. English is an abstraction. It's a modern language that's designed to condition people. It is not original human language. So the word in the original human language has wisdom in it. It has ancient wisdom, which we have to go and get back to make this world that we live in today sustainable. If we don't do that, we'll be completely lost.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. I really do.
So what I wanted to do is maybe your audience will benefit from some of the stuff that I wanted to share with
Yeah, please
them.
go ahead.
For instance, if you come to the language aspect of it, I do know Italia is not completely English. It still retains some Latin content. So I think people in Italy, they will appreciate this. The Italia, it retains some Latin context. In that sense, the ethnic background is still in that language as opposed to English. And majority of the world today claim that they speak English. However, the natural genetic operating language is not English for almost 7 billion people in the world, if you know what I mean. So this is a project we're working on, and this project will exonerate most ethnic languages in the world, like Samoa, Fiji, Papua New Guinea, Vanuatu, all those regions, Africa, India. Understanding this open source project, how it works, will help these particular group to have an alternative to LLM, large language model. They will now have an alternative foundational model like the low resource language model, because these languages don't have a lot of footprint on the internet. So for instance, if you want to know what we're talking about, you will understand what it's based on is AFA or IFA. It's an ancient computation system or oracle of knowledge. It emphasizes interconnectedness. That's what we need to understand here. It emphasizes on the interconnectedness and flow of energy, ebbs and yours, and the complexity. And that is why it will work very well within the AI space. As long as we understand that those words coming out of our mouth that sound reduced to text can be combined in a certain way to complete them, to affix them, to predict those words, and eventually reach the level of GPT, wherein you can have multi-language model as well as multimodal model. So if you have a multi-language model, which simply means that you can use Yoruba to translate all African language and every other language instead of going back to English. Because currently we're doing back translation. We're going back to English to get meaning and come back. While we're doing that, we lose a meaning. That's why sometimes if you go to ChatGPT and you ask for something in a particular language, at some point it becomes irrelevant because of the back translation. They lose it. But however, the method we are building will help, and we need support in building it, because those who are building all this other system, they don't have a vested interest in this. They want to continue the old tradition of masking the ingenuity. They know language is powerful. They're not going to build this. So I'm besieging your audience to see the need and share this with everyone that can get a hold of building this. The diaspora will build it successfully with those in the continent, because we have the papers completed. We have support from Microsoft as far as the infrastructure is concerned. That's basically what they're helping us on. And now we believe that once we finish this, then people can now build whatever they want in AI that will help businesses in the continent, other countries around the world who don't speak English, who don't really speak English. And it will expose a lot of things that are hidden before us. It will bring new knowledge from the ancient times, new artwork, new all of that. People will now be very happy to be in their own skin, speaking their mother's tongue, bringing creativity from those languages. And it will be a powerful alternative in the world. And these people will now become a part of AI economy. So the open source project is sponsored by Each One Teach One Tech. I will also talk about that. And what we're trying to do here is never been done before. And we seek significant amount of support to do that. And if you like what you see here, you can, join us. And we want people to join us. So this is one aspect of what I want to share with everyone. To join us, you can go here. We have an interest form. You can fill out the interest form if you want to join us. This is the interest form. We'll show you what we're looking for. If you fit in, we're looking for engineers, scientists in AI. We're looking for NLP engineers. We're looking for US UI developers. We're looking for linguists, especially African languages. We've mapped out the languages we're going to start off with. We need managers to manage the channels. We need marketers to let businesses know this is very important for them so they can support it. Because if we build this out, you no longer have to have back translation. You no longer have to go to English to go to any ethnic language. You don't have to do that anymore, because English is not aligned with ethnic languages. Therefore, you lose value. The English is subject, verb, object, structure. The ethnic languages is not like that. They are pretty much like consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel, or vowel, consonant, vowel, and the consonant, consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel, stuff like that. So we know how those ethnic languages work, and we know that the ethnic languages have they use certain sounds, like in musical notes, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Then do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. You complete the harmonics. In ethnic language, you can have ba, kwe, nye, wen, shi, shu, all of that. So these are the sounds. And then when you put them out together, bridging them with vowels, you get meaning. So their root never change. Okay, the root never change. Rather, it will be the same meaning in certain genre of the language, or how you use do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. You can use it to create R&B. You can use it to create country music. You can use it to create Afrobeat. You can use it to create classical, like Beethoven and all the rest of them. But yet, they are reduced to those notes and chords. So are ethnic languages. They are reduced to those sounds. And when you put them together, you bring a meaning. That's how things
All
are.
right. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. And of course, to our audience, I want to let us know that, of course, you are going to have the time to listen to Josiah on a number of occasions, because it's going to be joining our team regularly on LinkedIn, where we are always talking about storytelling. And in the diaspora storytelling, because we do have type of storytelling, the version that have to do with the diaspora, we are really heavy on our identity, on our languages, on our history. So he, being an expert in this area, he will share with you what he's doing and how you can benefit from it. So it's really an advantage for you to learn from what he's doing, what kind of input is going to add to you as a person of African descent, who is going to be able to see this opportunity from another African descent, who is proposing to you a kind of in-house solution to the challenges that we are having. So yeah, we are also waiting. We are looking forward to that.
Yeah, I wanted to share with you guys the
Oh,
organization that
okay. Go on, go
supports
on.
the open source project. So here, I don't know if you guys can see my screen, because I want to substantiate what I'm talking about. So this is an organization in the United States. It's called Each One Teach One Tech. Okay. So what we do is we provide cybersecurity skill set. We basically provide a skill set in the area of STEM. And currently, we are providing skill sets for people in the underserved communities. It doesn't matter where you live in the world. We'll give you these skills, and we'll provide you a job pipeline, and et cetera, et cetera. That way, you could be gainfully employed. And that will empower you to do things. Instead of leaving your country, you stay in your country and make the money. Okay. And if you're already outside your country, you don't have to be wasting your time doing things that are not helping you, doing things that are making you overwork yourself. Now you can do something where the demand is in the West. Whether it's Italy, Canada, they need people in cybersecurity. That's a huge challenge in this space. If you do your research, you find out over 3 million people are needed here in the US, not in Italy, not in Canada, not the UK. Imagine those areas. And these are countries that are dependent on their economy is online. Okay. They live in a digital space. So now think about this very carefully. So that's why I'm reaching out to you guys. We do have a community you can join in Discord. We do have current partners. You do have partnerships. If you're a company, you want to partner with us so we can provide you with skills that you need to solve your problems in your organization. We also have free offerings for those that live in the US. If you live in the US, you can get some tablets for free through our effort. And then there's so many things that we have, but more especially currently, we just found a way to give you guys vouchers if you're going to take cybersecurity exams like ISC Squared CC and SSCP. These are the things I wanted to share with you. And this company is a nonprofit, and it supports the openai.org. That's the one that's making it possible for openai.org to work. So we beseech you guys to support the effort and see what we're trying to do to help the suffering of humanity, suffering of a group of people around the world. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Now, the question I wanted to ask you have to do with the AFA system and the as an oracle system and how it relates to technology. Could you re-explain that part? What is AFA? People don't understand it.
So the AFA is a system that is just like the computer of today. Okay, it's just like the computer of today. You have an input device, you have an output device. So you have a keyboard input device, and you have an output device as a monitor where you can see what you inputted. But behind all of that, there's something called central processing unit. The central processing unit is where a lot of processing are done. And it's just like a receptacle that takes information and mathematically analyze them and give you an output. So there's ALO, which is the arithmetic logic unit in it that does the actual mathematics and all that kind of stuff. And the rest of them are text-based, which means you have a lot of encoding and decoding, where you take something like alphabets, you give them numbers, like from capital A, you give them 64 to I think 90 something, 64 plus 26, that's about 90. Okay. You go from capital A, you give them all of that. And you go from small letter A, you give them another number. So that's how it works. You encode these alphabet with numbers so that the computers can understand them. So when it comes to alpha, it's the same thing. So first, you need to understand that alpha has two ways, two methods to do it, especially the computing type of alpha, not necessarily the ones that you can do with water. You can read the water, you can pour candle in water and read it, or the one that you can do with turtle bones, bones on the turtle back and stuff, or the one that you can cast, like maybe you have a lion's
A
teeth,
cowrie also?
you cast it, and even calories, yeah, you have those ones. But the one I'm talking about is the real computation that you can only find in Southeast Nigeria, Southwest Nigeria, and the middle belt of Nigeria. That's the only place you can find it in the whole world. And this, you must understand that this is the secret of numbers. So the way it's designed is you have a matrix, okay? And those metrics, you can access it through numbers. You have a matrix, you can access the matrix through numbers. So now each of the metrics, you consider it as a square. It's a cell that's holding value. Okay? 4x4 matrix means there are 16 values that are held. So for instance, the first one should be Obehi, which is a word. Now in the computer uses something called a word. And the smallest possible word in a computer should be about 8 bits. So now, as you can see, our ancestors are very intelligent. They built the same system. They have the word Obehi in the space. And then they have every space contains a value. And that value is like you're writing in C++ or you're writing in Java, because ordinary people cannot understand it. See? So you have Obehi, you have Apple, you have Ogele, and then you have the last one, OD. So now to access those values, you start from 0. 0 is Obehi, 1 is Apple, then 2 is Ogele, and then the 3 is OD. That's how you access it. But when you count it as normal human beings, you count it from 1 to 16. That's why when the British came, when they give the ancient people 10 shillings, they call it Ovu, because the end of the metric system is 16. And they call it, in that mathematical computation style, they call it Ovu, which means completion of the alpha system. So it's base 16. We have a base 16 system. 2, 4, 8, 16. That's the system our people use. That's why we have 4 market days. That's how we have 13 months. That's why we have, instead of 365 days, we have 364 in a year. This is the system. And that's the system that was used in Egypt. That's the system that the Ethiopians are using today. So when you understand the Alpha system, then you understand how the world works. The world works in numbers. So when I'm casting the Alpha for you, now I have a lookup table, which most of the student of Alpha learn it over the years and they cram it in their head. When you combine Obi, like for instance, when you combine Obala and Otule, it tells you that it's something that had to do with a person that's called to be a wizard or a guru, Ijedibia or Balatule. That's what it means. The combination, that's what it means. Over the years, you know these things. Each combination means something. I have to explain it to the layman. The layman is called Ofeke. Yeah? Or there's a word for it. Agalioredi, which means somebody that's prone to having danger, like a rascal. Or Ovu Ogeli. Ovu is 16. Ogeli is, I think, is 6. Yeah? In numbering. You see? So that's what it is.
How do you transmit this information? Because now it is really complex, no?
It's very, very complex.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a joke. Yeah. This is, like, I just made a mistake. Ogeli is actually 3. Because it's a matrix. I'm looking at a matrix. Ogeli is actually 3. But I was talking fast. I said Ovogeli. Ovogeli is 16-3. Combine it means a rascal, a bad person, a criminal person.
Now, how do you transmit this information? Say maybe, for example, now, because I can see now you are transmitting information. You are somewhere in Aba. You want to transfer this information to another person in Enugu. Or maybe you want to transfer the information to somebody that is living in Benin, or maybe in Sokoto. How do you transfer the information so that the person there will be able to decode the message and understand what you are saying and then reply back to you? Help me understand that.
So this is why we are doing the alphaai.org. I have figured it out how I can make it a part of. You see how people want to see in the zodiac signs, the reading, how they can improve their life by knowing what their day will be before they start the day. So because I'm a practicer, I noticed that when you kind of look into your day, how it will go before you start the day, it is perfect for you because you anticipate the dangers and you do what you have to do to avert the dangers. So what we're doing now is we're building a system where you have a problem. You go through the process in the computer and put the markers where we want it to be, because we understand that everything is about energy and everything is connected, and there's nothing new we're doing here except for what is already in the spectrum. So you going to your computer is already predetermined. So when you get there, since I designed the computer, that energy, that my fingerprint is in that computer. As long as you're interacting with that program, I am still there. So when you give the intent is inside of you that you're looking for a solution, you want to know how your day will go today. So that intent, you follow the instruction and you put it in the computer and submit. When you submit, you will see the result casted in front of you. Just like you go and you do a reading or you look at your zodiac sign for the day and see how the life will be for you for that day. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to bring African ancient knowledge to the present so people that live in the world today can use it to make their life sustainable. It is not demonic. It's because of lack of understanding of the science, people demonize it, but this is actually an advanced mathematics and science of statistics. because even before you can commit to predicting and explaining this, you have to go through a process. Just like the CPU, you have to go through a process with the CPU. You have to burn the sand to get the silicon and dope the silicon so that electrical impulses can flow through it. And you build a lot of transistors, open and close, so that they can mimic the representation that you want. Same with alpha. Before you can use the string, you prepare the string, you bury the string, just like the silicon, you burn it, you go through the process. Whatever goes on the ground, it get heated over years. You put it in the land. The land is the one that knows everyone's secret. The land knows everyone's secret. So when you put it in the land, it knows everyone. It touches everyone because everybody's feet is on the ground through the trees. The trees communicate information amongst themselves. People don't even know that trees talk through mycelium connections. So we know all these things. So we use them. We know that if the support is there among the diaspora all over the world, the Alpha AI will build this solution and people will find it easier instead of traveling back home to go to the wizard to tell them this or that. And most of these wizards sometimes are not doing the right thing. It's just a science. They make it look like something it's not. It's a science. Over the years, it's not a secret. This is time to reveal it. This is the time of revelation. See, it has nothing to do with Christianity or Islam. No, this is the technology, proper technology developed over the years.
All right, now technology. I'm trying to understand it like this: that if you were to take a picture, say a photograph of a dibia in an Igbo land, and you look maybe at Babalawo in Yoruba, or maybe somebody doing the same divination in Benin. If you are not told that they are coming from different places, they look exactly alike. Also, the way that they approach. Either they have this instrument that they will use, because now you will come to meet them. Oh, there is this worry that I have. There is this information that I'm worried about. After you have explained to them what you want to explain to them, they will engage in this activity, and then they will be able to tell you something. Something exactly like what you are showing now, no? So I think we need more explanation of that. Yeah.
Yes, what I'm sharing with you guys is to show to the world that this is a technology. It has nothing to do with demons. It's a science that was built into technology over the years because the ancient understood the power of numbers. And they also understood there's a way to communicate and get meaning that is beyond human senses through the communication with the in the electromagnetic spectrum, because we live in the cosmos. So there's a lot of ways to get your answer. Some people look up to the stars to get their answers. Some people look up to the ocean to get their answers because these are natural. They are natural. They communicate the same thing across. It's like energy. Energy flow is going to be the same. It cannot be created nor destroyed. The ancients understood this. And what they did was they realized that there's a pattern in the chaos that exists in human nature. That if one can understand the pattern in the chaos, then it's possible for you to statistically be closer to explaining the unknown, which is what AI is all about. So there's something called the principle of 16. Before the principle of 16, there is nothing else. Okay, but there are contemporaries around the world, like the I Ching, was pouring in cold water, Afa Ifa is the king of all of these things. These things came after. Okay, if you look at this document I'm sharing you is years back, but it says something about machine learning. It says something about many things that people overlook. I was the only person in this world that was able to connect and say that Alpha is a technology that was established by the ancient people. I was able to show clearly how it works. These are the components of the alpha. If you can look at it here. So you have the 4 string, 4 nodes attached to each string. So you can say it's a collection of transistors, central processing unit. You have the turtle shell. You can say the tower casing for desktop that houses the CPU. You can consider that to be that. Then you have the alpha 1. You can consider this to be the input device or keyboard or mouse. Because when you come for me to help you as a Dibia, I give you a stick. You touch the stick, you give it back to me. You transfer the energy. And now I know everything about you in the spirit. When I say the spirit, I mean electromagnetic energy. Because I have the wand, I touch it, and I give it to you, you touch it, you give it back to me, just like the computer, 3-way handshake in the computer. You have the sensing arc. That's what we just did. So I got that intent of yours. And I would now tell you, if you have anything to give to the source of my ability, present it. We don't charge you money. You give whatever you like, because that's how nature works. Okay? The money system is something new, and we'll talk about it another time. So now the ujiri seeds or acorn, as it is used in modern times from the white oak, could be considered as the transistors because you tie it around the string. So this will help you to do the sampling. When you do the alpha cast, you are looking for the most possible outcome, the most possible outcome that will fit the intent of the person in order to answer to that problem. So when you do a cast for the person, you start with this. You cast it. I have 4 strings. As you can see here, you're going from right to left. The first string is number 1 here where my hand is. The second string is number 2. The third one is number 3. And the last one is number 4. There's nothing demonic here. This is simple science. So here, you have a binary system working. So this one here, yeah, this one here, you have 1, 2, 4, 8. 1, 2, 4, 8. Whenever you cast it, for instance, if everything is like, depending on which way you're going, it's open and closed. So if everything is open, it's considered nothing. You have to recast again. So the way you have this formation, it has meaning in it, because this is what? Closed. That closed means 8. This is closed, this is closed, meaning the ugiri seed is face down, face down, face down. If you're going that way, this one is face down, face down. That one is 6, because in binary, this is 1, this is 2, this is 4, this is 8. All of it gives you 15, which is an odd number. Remember, you access it from 0 to 15. And then when you count it, it's 16. That's why our ancient called 10 Ovuego. 10 shillings is Ovuego, meaning completion. Like the English people are digital, right? They are what we call decimal system. Our ancient people are not decimal system. They use binary. In fact, they are hexadecimal. They go by increment of 2, 4, 8, 16. That's how they. So that's why when you give them 10 shillings, they call it a vuego, because of their understanding of the world. So we don't have a religion, we have a way of life that permeates, is very scientific. That's why that region of the world, when they build something, is powerful, because everything is technical for them. Okay, so now you can understand that this one is 6, you can understand that this one is 5, and you can understand that this one is 10. All this number, there's a way you move around it. I will show you how you move around it. So first of all, you need to understand that these numbers, they hold values. You see, this 10 hold a value, and that 10 is Aka. And how many is your hand? Aka is 10 over here. Okay, now these 8 holds a value. This is 8, right? What is it? Ijite hold the value. So if you combine the Ijite and Aka, it has a meaning that the layman doesn't understand. We have to tell the layman. But now I want to move that to the internet so that the world will share it because it's time for it. That's what we're doing. And this will help us in AI and give Africa some weight in modern technology. So let's go and explain this one here now. What we casted, I can give you the explanation of what we casted. So what we casted, the way you do it is you combine the first 1 and the 4. So you have Ijite Aka, and that means Iweleaki Kengelo, which means to be progressive. Then you go 1 4 4 2 3 1 3 4 3 2 1 4 1 2 4 1. What is demonic about this? This is math. 4 2 is Aka Obala, Ndi Chizule Chizu, titled man. Then you do all of that and get all the meaning. The last one is 4 1, which is Analand. But to you, as the person, the guru or the Dibia, you know when the meaning is not there yet. You can cast again. Most of the time, when I cast, I get the meaning in the second one. If it's very difficult, I go to the third one. Once I go to the third one, I get the meaning and I tell you, and it's exactly that. This is what's existing in the universe already. It's not new, nothing. That's why we should play a role in artificial intelligence. We cannot rely on other people to build for us because they will do what they do if they build it for us. So now, from here, now we can understand what is happening here. Okay, so this is the framework that he uses, basically. But eventually, I will give you the meaning of all of that. I think I have it somewhere here. So let me give you the meaning of what we did. So the first and the last stanza is a segue to the deeper meaning, okay, of the cast and the middle stanza. So if you look at the first stanza, this is the first stanza to be progressive. The last stanza is land. So the meaning does not always come out of the first cast. However, you can clearly see the direction when you examine the loop carefully. So the meaning of the casted string is this. One will become progressive in the land wherein the support of powerful men will surface. However, the so-called powerful ones will also become the stinging pen or obstacle. That's the meaning of this cast. All these casts that you see here. That's what it means. So the mechanism of the ancient oracle have not seen any makeover as to the direct connection to modern science. No one wants to connect it to modern science, but I've done because I have the calling. I was directed to do it because I know it will play a large role in artificial intelligence.
It's powerful. This is it.
So that's what is there. And there's a lot of work done before me. For instance, if you go to Igbo Ogam Dictionary, Ntapioku, it was done by Dr. Catherine Achalano. Nobody listens to her, but I read her book and I knew she was powerful in what she was saying. There's another one by this guy, Anedo Alexander. I tried to contact him. He once lived in Germany. I could never find him again. But I used some of his work to make distance work. So this is the Alpha Oracle framework, 4-bit binary conversion, and 3 repetition and a set of 4 strings. So this is the framework which I've expanded and created new rules. Closed and open circles or overs must be used to identify a state. Seekers must use provisioned medium to create closed and open circuit. When a string is closed, the whole set must be recasted. All 3 different sets of 4 string ensemble. So it's up to you if you want to do face down or face up to mean you're positive or you're negative. For me, I used for face down to mean my positive, which means where my reading and meaning comes from. As you can see, all these numbers have negative numbers as well. So I demonstrated that in a computer, there's a way we identify negative numbers by putting 1 in front of the strings and etc. The ancient knew all of that. So this is a truth table. From this truth table, you identify what you're looking at. You see that one there is what you're looking at. See? So you're looking at the the closed one is the head. So we take the head, which is the closed one, that one. So if you look, I think the tail is opened. empty circle. Then the head is closed, filled circle. So that's the one. Then here is a little mistake. It could be changed easily. So that's what that is.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah.
So this is the truth table here. Yeah. So this one is supposed to be this one. It's supposed to be this one, not the one that I specified. Does it make sense? It's supposed to be the one before it, not the one I specified. So these are work I've been doing for years. So now we move that work to what you see here in very much like AI. From what we learned here, we move it to AI and we realize that there's a connection to this and AI. These are words in the dictionary that I found by Dr. Katrina Chalana. Okay, so these are the words in the hard dictionary. There's not a lot of work. So what I did was I connected the spoken language with the meaning, using the language itself to give meaning to the words. English doesn't have that ability, but ethnic languages do. Like in I can show you, I can share this with you. You can get a lot of knowledge from it to use it to determine the meaning of words in your language, even when you don't really know what it means. So in Igbo language and Yoruba language, they share this value. Like in the lungs in Igbo is ngugu. But when you break down the word ngugu, you notice that this is a vowel, sometimes used as a vowel N. Like N, ni, not ni. This is not ni. It's an okay. Then you have the G-U, which is good, but actually is good, like it has a little accentuation at the bottom of the U. So you have the good. So this is a root word, and this is another root word. They only make sense when they come together. Google. Now imagine there's no N to it. You have Google. But if you put N to it, you have Google. This is the body organ that allows humans to breathe. Now, this is what is going to be interesting. How about when we are telling a child who is crying to soothe the child who is crying? What do we say in Igbo? We say Guguo. You see the O at the end. See the O at the end, it makes it possessive. So what that means is it's telling you to calm the child down. But do you notice that there's a connection? There's the go, the root word appear twice here. So what that tells us is the ancient, they knew that the child who is crying is not breathing properly. Does it make sense to you?
It makes a lot of sense.
Huh? They know that the child who is crying is not breathing properly, so they tell you to go quiet. So make her pace the breathing, because when you're crying, you're not breathing. So now they want you to soothe the child and make the child pace and be normal like every other person who now will be breathing. Yeah. So in that case, the good one means to take from hold. Good one means the good one means to pace to calm the child down so they can pace their breathing. You see, I'm using English to explain it to you, but I shouldn't. It should be like make a what I can cool off ma correct? That's how it's supposed to be. But now we are going to English to get the meaning, but we're trying to stop that. Go means to take, to do something, to take hold of. It's like a verb. Okay? So which in this case could only mean to take a firm hold when it appears twice. Go. To take a firm hold of what? To take a firm hold of oxygen.
Thank you so much for that.
See?
Uh,
So that's how it works.
I have a kind of a curiosity as we were going through the presentation. I saw a conjunction there. Okay, I think it passed just now again. Is KP, I think something like that. So which language is that?
Where did you see it?
Okay, I think it's gone down now. I think it's no longer there. I think it got
this one.
Yeah. KP. That is the conjunction. That KP. Which language is that? Because that is actually how we pronounce words in a sound. Like for example.
So these are the Romanized or Latinized alphabets of Igbo language. I think Yoruba also have something similar. Yoruba have 22 alphabets. Igbo has 26 Romanized alphabets. And these are the vowels, like these are naturally occurring sounds. You can liken it to musical notes. Okay. So it's like the alphabet, like A, B, C, D, F, G, the same thing. But the difference is our alphabet, they don't make sense without a vowel. Our alphabet, they don't make sense. They don't exist by themselves. They don't make sense
the
without
words
a vowel.
like that, like K, P to form words. Give me an example of words that you can say in Igbo like that.
Yeah, like bata.
Okay.
Bata is to bring. Bata is to bring. So if you look at bata, you have to have KP and O to form the root. Bo. Then ta is another root. T, A is another root. Then you combine the two roots, you make a word.
Yeah, that is also very common in this language, like ukbea, ukbon. Ukbon meaning cloth, ukbea meaning a man. Of course, there are many like that. Ikbea meaning 3 years. Okay, they can be very many like that. But by the way, I didn't find it very interesting.
So now you can relate because you have the same sound, but not the same meaning. But the sound never change. But when you put together the root words, then you make sense. So that's what we're saying, that we can use this to develop an AI system that gives voice to the underserved communities. That's all, which in this case will no longer be large language model. It will be low resource language model. That's what we're saying.
It makes a lot of sense.
So you don't have to go to English to go and understand the language. You just have to understand it from a language that is like it already. So you don't lose value anymore.
All right. So tell me, how can people get started to learn about their fast system within technology so that they can use it in the area of technology? Where should they start from?
So currently, we want to build. We don't want to distract people. We want to build a system based on it first, an AI system. From there, once we build that system, then from there, them understanding it is a piece of cake. Right now, I have been able to connect it to the modern science and technology, but I don't want to confuse them to go through the headache. I just have to use it to build a software. Once I do that, the rest is history. So if they want to learn about this, they have to join us on this website. I think I've shown it before. If you want to get involved, if you want to get involved as someone who want to be a part of it, you come here, fill it out. We get the interest form, and we follow up with you. You come here, fill it out, we get an interest form, we follow up with you. That's it. Then if you want to learn more, you go to this one here. You learn more why we should build this kind of system. There's a challenge. Someone from from California, they asked this question: can low resource language catch up in the multilingual model race? They asked the question because they know what the problem is. That large language model is eating up low resource language model. Low resource languages around the world is pushing an agenda that's focused in English, which is not aligned with the these languages. And you cannot bring no creativity from these people because English is not their first language. It will be hard. And a lot of people, over 7 billion people on the earth, still speak their original native language. In Africa, what people don't tell you about Africa is the English is spoken only in the capital cities. If you go to the village, nobody speaks English. They speak their language.
That's so true. That's so true.
But nobody tells you
Even though
that.
they speak English in the capital cities, they still know how to speak their local language because, of course, they communicate with the people in their rural area, no?
But the problem is they're not using their local languages technology. They are losing the meanings.
Mm-hmm.
They are losing meanings. And the system we are building will now bring the meaning back because we found out that the meaning is in the same word. I just demonstrated it to you. And that's not an isolated case.
Thank you so much for the time.
You can try it in your language and you see the case is still the same.
Mm-hmm.
See, the case is still the same. So what is table in your language? You probably don't know.
What do you mean table?
Right?
Table as a table where you eat?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I'm thinking.
That's exactly what the problem is.
Where we sit is aga. Where we sit down to eat, that is aga. Where I don't remember the word for table.
But where you sit to eat is not table. But it's aga.
No, where you sit.
So now, knowing that it's aga, you have to understand what aga is, so that when you see the table, you use aga to formulate table. You don't go to English to give your meaning to your own language. It's wrong. Your language has to be growing.
Mm-hmm.
But it has to be rooted on the original meaning of your ancestors.
But that table, now I've tried to even see it. I've tried to even see the picture. Whether we do have that. I have not seen it like that, a table where you sit down to eat. But we have a place like ukuko, for example, now, which is our bed, but the bed is different. The bed that is made with clay, But we don't really put table there. I'm trying to see it. Anyway, that is a good challenge that you threw to me there. I will really reflect on that.
The bed is made of clay.
Yeah, we call it ukuko.
And the clay, then you put the mat on the clay. Yeah. We have the same thing. That's
we call it ukuko. Ukuko. Then you have
I think in our region it's called aqua.
Yeah. Aqua. You see, what is really very interesting in it, by the time you begin to pronounce the words and also the significance of the word, you see that they're even sounding similar there. Aqua, that's what we call it. We are calling it. Me are calling it ukuko. It's not like it's too far away.
It's not too far away. So what we need to do is to build this solution and then get all these inferences so that way it will work for everyone.
What do you call river? What do you call river?
Oh, river is like Amambala.
Okay, we call river Ede. Ede.
Okay. Amambala.
Okay.
Osimiri. Sometimes we call a big one Osimiri.
Okay. That the big one in our place is called Odigi.
Well, we call it Orimiri.
Okay, you see that one is similar.
Some people call Osimiri. Yeah, it should be similar.
We call that one Odigi.
You call Oriri. We call Orimiri. Some people call Osimiri.
The language, because I think the whole language that we are speaking there, the Igbo, the Hausa, they are the Niger Congo language, right?
That's right. You got it.
So they are the same at the end of the day. Of course, there are big differences because people have migrated to different places.
Yes, because they have that familiarity, so we can actually do well with them. So in the closing, I will say that there's a solution, and we have to look within ourselves. There's a homegrown solution that should be used Now, with the way the world is going, they are looking for places where they can have resources that are competitive, especially human resources. We have to prepare the continental youths
We don't
and
see you
the
anymore.
diaspora. Huh? Oh, okay. You don't see me. Let me stop the shine. So we have to empower the continental youths. There's a need to empower the continental youth and diaspora to take technology seriously and use it, and as not just use it, but contributing to it, like all these projects that we have. If they become a part of it, that means they're creating themselves. They're creating a world in their own image, and they will benefit in the long run.
Thank you so much for that. It has been a pleasure talking with you here, sharing this incredible value.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.